Hey everybody, this is Sal G, the drummer for the band Stained. I want to thank Modern Drummer for coming out. We are at the Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida, and we are here to do a tour kit rundown. This is a Mapex Saturn Evolution drum kit. The finish is one of my favorites. It's in the gunmetal gray with the black nickel hardware. The sizes are 22 by 18 in the kick drum. We have a 10 by 7, we have a 12 by 8, a 14 by 14, and an 18 by 16. I like going from the 14 to the 18. I like the 18, it's just got that low resolute, note. So usually it's a 14, 16 setup with certain guys, but I like that. And then the way that my drum tech, Mark Bennett, has these tuned, it's just, there's no interval issue or anything. They just sound big and huge. So the snare drum is a 6.5 by 14. It's the Black Panther atomizer. So it's an all aluminum shell. And I've said it before, the reason why it's called the atomizer is because it splits atoms every time you hit it. So I love that snare drum for the live situation. My backup snare drum actually is a 6.5 by 14 Shadow, and that is a birch walnut combination too. So that's my backup snare drum, and I love that snare drum too. So I'm currently using Evans drum heads, and on the top of the toms, I'm using the Evans EC2S. So it's a double ply head with a kind of a pinstripe ring to it. On the bottom, I'm using the Evans G1 clear. And then on the snare drum, I've got an Evans 300 series bottom. And on top, I've got the Evans hybrid. Let's go to cymbals next. I'm playing Zildjian cymbals. And off to my left here, we have the custom effects cymbal. So it's a very holy cymbal. This is 18. This is a 17-inch K custom hybrid China. This is an 18-inch K custom hybrid Crash. This is a 21-inch A Sweet Ride. We have an A custom projection Crash. This is 19-inch. And then this is the 21-inch ultra hammered China. I want to point this cymbal out. I love this, one of my favorite cymbals. It's like these two had a kid, and out came this. It's like the perfect blend of like a China and a Crash together. So it's a nice little accent cymbal. The splashes, I'm using the Oriental trash splashes, both of them. This is 11-inch and this is 9-inch. And I recently went from 14 to 15-inch hi-hats, and these are the K Sweet Hat top with an A custom Master Sound bottom. So you kind of get the smoothness of the K, but the Master Sound kind of adds a little brightness to it. So it's not so abrasive, but I love this combination of the hi-hats there. So I love the A Sweet Ride. I've tried a couple of different rides this year, and this one has a really nice wash to it, so I do crash it. And this here actually is there's X-hats. These are 13-inch just straight K hi-hats, and these are just kind of count-off cymbals, actually. So obviously, backup, I can, use it, but these are count-off cymbals. So that way, both my, bass player and my drummer can audibly hear both sides, for count-offs. So that's handy there. I'm using the DW9000 pedals. Love them. Mark and I have been kind of tweaking them. They're ultra tweakable with cam adjustments and weights and all kinds of stuff like that. So we're dialing them in. So I love those things. I did upgrade to a bearing drive shaft, which just makes the left slate pedal a little bit smoother. So the whole rack and hi-hat stand is all Gibraltar. I love Gibraltar, so they just have so many different things that you can just customize whatever you want. So we spent some time, putting a nice little custom rack together, for the tour and stuff. So the cool thing about this rack and the kit is that it's bolted to the riser. My buddy Chip, he welded some pieces for me. So it's a flat plate with a couple bolt holes, and then he welded a tube, and then the inside of the tube, diameter of the tube is actually the outer diameter of the pipe for Gibraltar, and so it slides in there perfectly. Gave me couple of lock nuts. So that's what actually bolts this thing to the riser. On all the cymbal tops, I'm using the sim pads. These are the cellulose pads here. These are actually phenomenal. I like my cymbals to move and swing, and they allow me to do that. You can get all types of colors and designs. So shout out to the military. Got a little camo going on, yep, all the way around, all the cymbals. Another shout out I want to do is Rock Locks. These are the best that I've come across. They're phenomenal. They have like a gear system on the inside, and the gear is tight, so it can fit just all types of companies, lug screws and stuff. So, but the material that they're made out of is super hard. I don't know what it is, but it's pretty awesome. So I put them on everything, not just down here. Just put them on everything across the drum, and yeah. So the snare drum is just always in tune. So another awesome shout out is Ahead. This is the Spinal Glide Throne. So a few years ago, just playing with a cover band back home. Shout out to those guys, Johnny Bender. We play 2 or 3 hour sets, and I was starting to get some low back pain. So this truly works, the separation. So it really kind of improved my lower back. Mapex does have, with their Saturn Evolution series, they do have options where you can get certain tone wood in the toms, kick drum, and you can kind of mix and match. So what I ordered and what I put together was the kick drum is actually maple and walnut. So there's outer layers of maple, the inner layer is walnut, and with the toms I went with birch walnut. So same thing, outer layers are birch, the middle is walnut. So I love birch toms just because of kind of naturally EQ. There's kind of a little bit scooped mids in there, but man, they sound big to me. So, but I like the punch of a maple kick drum. So, and they have those types of combinations that you can order, which is a very, very cool thing that Mapex does. So the sticks I'm using are the Vader Powerhouse. I was using the SD9s last year, and I talked to Chad over at Vader, and we decided on the Powerhouse there. So these are between a 2B and a 5B, and they got a little bit more length to them, and the Acorn is not as sharp.
Hi, it's David Frangioni, CEO of Modern Drummer. Thank you for leading our drumming community and being such a significant and important part of everything we do here at Modern Drummer. We're so excited. Please hit the subscribe button to Modern Drummer's YouTube channel. It's just hit it below. Be part of everything we're doing every day, every week, every month. Also, check out our shop. It's so exciting for drummers to check out. We got back issues, got some incredible drummers. We've got shirts, we've got hats, we've got notebooks, we've got education. It's all there. If you love drums and drumming like I do, and I'm sure you do, and all of us at Modern Drummer are so passionate about, you got to check out the shop at moderndrummer.com. And please, again, hit the link and subscribe to the Modern Drummer YouTube channel. I'll see you again soon.
What's up, everybody?
I'm not touching you.
Mark Bennett, MBZ, Sal G's Drum Tech. We're hanging out here in Florida with Modern Drummer. All right, so the Evolution series from Mapex utilizes a mounting system called the Halo mount. The Halo mount wraps 180 degrees around the shell and connects to the bottom of the lug casing. What's great about that is, as opposed to touching the tension rods, it's not putting any weight up here at all. You spend so much time fine-tuning these tension rods and getting the head balanced, and then you put it up on the tom arm, and then you have all the weight now on the tension rods, which pulls your drum out of tune. With it being connected to the bottom of the lug casing, it doesn't impede any of this whatsoever. The drum is literally sitting on here, floating on top of this, and it's, like I said, it's 180 degrees around the drum, so it's cradling really nicely. When it goes to changing heads, for instance, if I go to do top heads, I can pull the hoop right off, and the drum stays up here. It's not going to come off when I take the tension rods out. Well, that's the other really neat thing. But as a tech, I'm not a big fan of using moon gels or any sort of dampening system. Right here, you'll see this knob. There's this knob, when you turn it, pushes up against the shell, and binds the shell within the mount system itself, so it naturally gates the drum. Sal is a very hard hitter, so like tuning these drums, it's a very dynamic show. Like, yes, it's rock metal, it's rock music, it's metal, and he does hit really hard, but there's some moments that he is playing a little bit softer, and so tuning these, he wanted a softer feel of the heads, right? So I had to make up the lack of tone coming from the top with bringing the bottom heads up, right? But I don't want these things to ring out too long. I don't want a big sustained note from the rack tom, especially since they're a little bit shorter. Because they're a little bit shorter, they're going to have a little bit more compression and want to ring out a little bit longer. So I brought up the bottom heads, I dropped the top heads, and then I engaged the dampener system on the two toms, which shortened the note for me. So I get the big boombastic note that I'm going for with a slightly lower tuning with good projection, and then fill it in down here. And then the floor toms utilize a new floor tom leg. It comes straight down, 90-degree bend, 90-degree bend. So I get really good sustain out of the floor toms. Again, I'm controlling everything by going with the lower tuned top head. And really the reason why we did that is the feel of the drum. He didn't want a lot of rebound off of the heads. He wanted to be able to lay into them without having a stick jump out. So everything's a little bit lower across here, and then I just made up everything on the bottom side of the drum. But yeah, it's really cool suspension system. As a tech, I absolutely love it. Sonically, they give me everything that I need to give to the sound department, front of house monitors. We get an incredible drum sound. Fantastic job. Russ Mehler and the rest of the design team over at Mapex really knock these things out of the park. I love tuning this kit every day. It's actually fun. It's not a challenge. It's easy to get behind this thing with the drum key and make it do what I need it to do. Put these Evans 360 heads on, the EC2s. You just finger tight and boom, there it is, and you're finished. The only dampening that I actually like to do, if it's required, and if I really need to shorten up a note, is I'll do cotton balls, especially inside the floor toms. Especially if I'm doing like a higher tuning on the floor toms, like if I'm doing something pop sort of gigs where all the tunings are up a little higher, they need to cut through the mix a little bit more. When you tune floor toms up, they want to have a really big long sustain. So I'll just get a handful of large cotton balls, throw them inside the floor tom, and that will generally dampen. And then you can change, hey, I need more dampening. All right, cool. Take the head off, throw another handful in. Once you figure out your mixture of like, okay, 7 large cotton balls is perfect for this size drum, you're good for the rest of the tour. You never need to change it. So it's just getting it set up for that first time, and then, rinse and repeat. You could do it on the rack toms, floor toms, and that lets you control it because when you hit the drum, they'll bounce up, they float back down, and they stop the sustain. So, but with this dampening system, I do it with the hardware. I do it with the drum. I don't need anything external to control the drums. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it here. Short note. And if I disengage it.
Yeah, I hear it.
Much longer note,
yeah.
right? So we'll turn it back on again. And it tightens it up. This is my world. I sit here, watch Sal. I run the playback system and make sure whatever he breaks, I'm up there and fixing it and make it look pretty, make it sound good. My home away from home, as I call it. It's my check box. I have every tool possible for the playback system, all the carpentry tools to fix the riser or whatever I need for that, and spare parts, nuts, bolts for everything up on top of the riser. So in here is anything and everything that I would possibly need, including Wi-Fi. We were doing some edits today, so I was downloading some files. So I have a built-in Wi-Fi into my work box, so no matter where I am, as long as I have power, I have internet, I've got TV, I've got my computer set up, so it's here. I can watch movies if I need to during the day if I'm bored.
Or during the show.
During the show. any of that sort of fun stuff. So, but yeah, this is my box, and then here's the playback system. The playback system is a Savant playback system. Great company out of Nashville. They do incredible playback rigs. They did this for Stained. The playback system, like Sal was saying, the main purpose of it really is the time code for all the different departments, whether it's special effects, if we're doing pyro. In this case, we've got video all over the place. Behind us is a giant video wall, and on the front of the kit and both of these set carts is another giant video wall. So all the video content, all the lighting, all the effects are locked together from timecode from the playback system. And there's also teleprompters that are married into this as well. So A machine, B machine, they run sync together, Play 12 audio interface, and then a Blackmagic Design video switcher for the teleprompters. So everything is coming from this here. I have a little controller where I can start and stop, but the start and stop is all managed by Sal during the show. In case anything crazy happens, I can jump in and kill it if I need to, or if we're skipping songs or changing set list. With the set list plugin for Ableton, we can just scroll to the next song, and then Sal can fire it once everybody's ready. But this is where I sit during the show and make sure he's good. We have talkback communication, so if I need to get to him, give him an update on anything, I can get into his ears. And he also has one to communicate back with me, so we can hear each other without trying to scream over the guitar rigs and everything else that's happening up on stage.
So story goes, 1999, I started as the drum tech for Stained, and teched for about 12 years. And then in 2011, took over the drummer's throne. So yes, we're very much part of I still feel like a tech at times. I just don't, so that's why I love the crew and hanging out and joking around.
Even going back to 2011, 2012 when we toured together, I don't think there was ever a moment where we had anything fall off the riser or anything crash, anything. Knock on wood. Thanks for jinxing us, Modern Drummer. I appreciate that.
We do that.
But no, it's all the gear, all the equipment that we've been using is solid gear and is reliable and maintained. It's well maintained, and I think that's the biggest thing to avoiding stuff. Wear and tear, failures during the show. So
and experience too. Like there's how many years of experience just in teching alone, between the two of us, and any little thing, any ideas, and even as techs, we've come up with ideas along the way, and we all share, and there's just all this experience going on, and eventually it just gets to the point where if things are, it's comfortable. We don't have to, we can joke during the show. I can feel good. I can feel relaxed. Just it's great.
Gallagher did this for us out of Nashville, and this is in all of my years of teching and touring, and I'm sure yours as well.
Yeah.
This is the most stout drum riser I think I've ever had. Ever. It is a full-blown 2 4x8 set carts. They have fork slots in there, and this thing is a tank. It is the most well-designed, overbuilt, heavy-duty drum riser I've ever worked with, and I absolutely love it. Like, nothing moves. Once Sal's up there, this thing is absolutely sturdy. There's legs that screw down into the floor, which lock it into place, and it's great. And then this whole thing splits in half. We take the 18. That's the only drum that moves. 18 in the drum throne. Everything else is bolted down. We've got the 14-inch floor tom with clips bolted down to some D-rings. That will roll straight into the truck. All we need to do is lower the overheads, and that rolls straight into the semi. And then we just throw a few extra little bips and bops on the back of this riser, and that will roll in. The 18 flips upside down, and it gets tied down to those 2 D-rings with the strap so it doesn't slide off going up and down ramps. And then, straight in. We keep all of our spares and everything else right inside the set cart. So we've got the spare snare drum pedals, cymbals. Everything is literally living right there, which is great. I don't have to have a bunch of cases laying all over the place. So it's a little messy right this very second, but as you see, pedals in, extra hi-hat stand, snare drum, cymbals, and then for loadout time, all my looms, everything will get tossed into here, and then straight to the truck. It's a super, super quick loadout for the entire backline department. Because all the cabinets are also built into the set. So it's really our work boxes, our amps and everything else that just everything rolls straight in. It's a really quick pack and on to the next city. And it's been great. It's Gallagher, like I said, fantastic job with this entire set design. Really knocked it out of the park.
I want to thank Modern Drummer for coming out. This is awesome for me. Glad to be here. Awesome for Mark. I'm glad Mark is here. This whole thing has been great. And a little side note too is, when I took the drumming gig in 2011, Mark was my first drum tech, And so now 12, 13 years later, just, life cycles back around, and, here we are again. It's been pretty badass. So it's been just nothing but fun, to be honest with you.